Breaking news today. Putin ignores Prigozhin, and Vice President Biden makes light of poison. According to the Kremlin, Putin met with Wagner commanders and Prigozhin on June 29, 5 days after the mutiny, during which the mercenaries pledged their allegiance to Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin reportedly met with the Wagner mercenaries days after their failed mutiny and offered them the chance to continue fighting while also suggesting that Yevgeny Prigozhin be replaced as commander. A deal was struck to allow Prigozhin and some of his fighters to go to Belarus on June 24, after Putin had said he would crush the mutiny the previous day and compared it to the wartime turmoil that ushered in the revolutions of 1917. Wagner is one of the world's most battle-hardened mercenary forces, and Prigozhin, a former convict who rose to become known as Putin's chef, and Russia's most powerful mercenary, are both shrouded in mystery, as is the fate of that deal. Putin met with Wagner commanders and Prigozhin on June 29, the Kremlin said on Monday, 5 days after the mutiny. According to the Kremlin, the mercenaries have declared their continued support for Putin. One of Russia's most prominent newspapers, Kommersant, published Putin's comments to its most seasoned Kremlin correspondent, Andrei Kolesnikov, which hinted that Prigozhin and Wagner's future was uncertain. When asked by Kommersant if the Wagner would be kept as a fighting unit, Putin said, "But Wagner does not exist. There is no regulation of private military companies. There is no such thing." According to a statement released by the Kremlin on Friday in response to questions about Putin's comments, no such legal entity as Wagner exists, and the Kremlin notes that the legal status of such companies is complex and warrants further consideration. Putin went on to describe a meeting he had held in the Kremlin on June 29 with 35 Wagner commanders, during which he presented them with several options for continuing the fight, one of which was for a senior Wagner figure known by his nom de guerre, Sedoy, or grey hair, to assume command. According to EU sanctions documents, French official documents, sources familiar with the matter, and Russian media reports, the alias, Sedoy, is used by senior Wagner commander Andrei Troshev. Troshev is a native of St. Petersburg, Putin's hometown, and he has been pictured with the president. He is a decorated veteran of Russia's wars in Afghanistan and Chechnya. Putin was quoted as saying this by the Russian news agency Kommersant. And their lives wouldn't have evolved in any way either. They would have followed the same leader who was really in charge all along. According to Kommersant's sources, Putin claimed that many of the commanders had nodded their head in agreement with his suggestion, but Prigozhin, who was seated in the front, had missed this. Putin cited Prigozhin as saying, "No, the boys won't agree with such a decision." Putin made these comments to Kolesnikov and a state television reporter on Thursday, but the Kremlin's official transcript does not include them. When asked for comment, Prigozhin remained silent. Since June 24, when he left the city of Rostov in southern Russia, Prigozhin has not been seen in public. On Thursday, Vice President Joe Biden said the United States didn't know where mercenary leader Prigozhin was and joked that he might have been poisoned. "I would watch what I ate if I were him." Biden was quoted as saying, "I would be keeping an eye on my menu," in a White House transcript.